I have just arrived on a new job site location. What we're doing here is a staircase right here. The gravel, the homeowners moved all this rock back, but initially they were trying to walk up and down here to get to the mailboxes, and it was pretty hazardous. A couple falls. This is all loose rock, so we're going to build a little staircase, a narrow one. They don't want it to be a showpiece and stand out and make it a main entrance, because this is the side street. So we're going to also do it in a gray color concrete, and we're going to only do it 20 inches wide, just the bare minimum, and then the rocks will go up against it. It'll kind of blend in with this hillside, and that's about it. And I'm going to start with the laser to see what our height is here, and then their distance. I know the distance is 25. I'm guessing the height's 8 feet. So I'm thinking I'm gonna be around 18-inch treads at about 6-inch high steps, maybe 6 1/4 and 19-inch treads, something like that, if it's 8 feet and we're 25. But we'll do some math here pretty soon and check it out with the laser level. All right, so here's the laser level. I'm going to set it up. I'm just going to lay it on the dirt. I want to keep it as low as possible to make sure my story pole will get full height. And it did. And the nice thing about it, it was 8 feet. That's kind of what I guessed when I was standing down at the bottom and looking at it. I knew it was above my head, so I'm thinking, oh, I know it's over 6 feet. So I guesstimated 8, and that's how it was. And now it's a matter of making this slope a little bit straighter. I'm going to dig it in a little bit at the top, because it was kind of a weird sloped hill. So we're going to kind of follow the hill, because we don't want to change anything on the sides, because I mean that'd take a lot of work to change all this rock. So we want to maintain something close to what's there. That way we just have to push the rock back up against it. So as I looked at it and the rock was moved out, I just grabbed a 16-foot 2x12, and that's a nice straight edge. And it laid down pretty flat on that dirt, so we got a good cut slope there. And this is a really simple way to try to put steps on a hillside that you're trying to match. Just lay something on there that's straight. And then all you got to do is keep topping off at the top of that board. And you'll see when I start putting the risers in, it's pretty basic. It's really simple to set the stairs up, basically. There's not a whole lot of math involved, to be honest. It's just a matter of making it work on the existing slope. So what I'm doing now is I've determined that I'm using, I think I used 19-inch or 18-inch treads, and then I just went down 18 and then I went down 6, and each time I did that, it hit the top of that 2x12 where the top of riser would be. So that was the correct layout. Matter of fact, I didn't really even need measuring tape. All you really need is on something like this was a 2-foot level, and you can mark the distance of the tread by the time your level tops out on that 2x12 from the bottom of your step to the top of the next one. Wherever it tops out, that's the distance of the tread. So you can mark your level at that point, and then just keep transferring it down, 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 and then you have a place to nail your risers to. But here's where the hillside got kind of weird, right down here at the bottom, because we have a change in slope on the hill, and you can kind of see it there as the 2x12s are going in. And I don't need a whole lot of upright steel stakes. I'm going to have so many risers in here, that's going to hold the whole thing together by itself. And the nice thing about this is I have the Milwaukee nailer, and it shoots duplex 16s. Also shoots 8 duplex, but here I'm using 16 duplex. I'm just putting 2 on each side, 2 nails on each side into the riser, and that's all I'm going to need to hold this. And it's pretty much ready to pour at that point. I'm going to throw a couple kickers on it mostly at the joint, maybe one or two in the middle. That's about it. Because the last thing I'd want to happen is those 2x12 start to spread out from the weight of the concrete. Then nothing's holding the risers, because it could potentially push out enough so that the nails aren't holding anything, and then the risers would collapse. Kickers are kind of just a safety feature. You probably wouldn't spread anyway with the weight of the concrete, but you never know. Now there's a nail I actually had to use with my hammer. So I'm breaking that baby in. I got a heart there. So look at the riser different. The height maintained the same, but the distance just got longer. You can see I went to, I think, 24 inches on these bottom three, 24-inch long. So the steps go from 24 to 18. Now here's your landing at the bottom, just at the mailbox. It was pretty dangerous going down this hillside. They were going down it, you know, on the rock, trying to get to the mailbox rather than walking all the way around the block, because their front access of their house, the mailbox on the side of the house rather than at the front of the house, but the street address is on the side of the house. Doesn't make a lot of sense. But in any case, this was the best solution. All right, guys, just got my new Milwaukee roto hammer, and I'm gonna try it out on this staircase. It's a little beauty, isn't it? Now, I got a 1/2-inch bit, so I'm using 1/2-inch rebar. Okay, it's in. When I was setting this staircase, I found a huge boulder down here. So I'm going to drill into it and anchor the whole case right to this one boulder. Yeah, so when we were cutting into the hillside at the top, we found a huge boulder up here. I think this whole hillside is stacked with boulder underneath a little bit of dirt. That's how they're holding the hillside back. I think this whole thing was pre-stacked with massive boulders to begin with. So that's why we happened to find that. Look how easy I made that look. Which was nice, because now I can anchor the whole staircase to that boulder. And then it can never slide down the hill. Also, I'm going to do some earth teeth. In other words, I'm going to dig down some holes down the hillside. I'll dig a hole, you know, an extra about a foot deep. I'll put like 3 of those as we go down a little deep into areas to really lock it into this hillside. Now that I have the rebar bent down, I was able to slide the full length. So I did 1 bar on each side. I slid them all the way down the hill from the top. Now here's the color concrete going in. We're using S&S, and this is 2 yards of concrete to 3,000 PSI. So this is pretty stout with the 1/2-inch rebar doubles in a small area. I only ran them lengthwise, you know, because it's not going to crack any other way. It's going to crack across perpendicular to this whole thing. So that's the rebar you want opposing that. Now this is a little dark right now, and that's how color concrete, or any concrete, even concrete without color, it starts dark and it's going to lighten up as it cures out. So it's going to be really close. This is a medium gray is what it is. We're going to go ahead and strip and face this as it tightens up a little bit. We're going to pull the risers, get that detailed out really nice. And then if we feel comfortable with it, we'll pull the sides off as well, and then finish the sides up as well. Oh, also I have some fiber mesh in this. I'm finishing underneath those risers. I'm slapping my hand float all the way up and under. Well, those are 5.5-inch forms, so we end up with a 6-inch step. Here's Kenny, and he pumped it out for me. So there wasn't a lot of rod work. We didn't really have to do any screeding. It's such a small area, we could do it kind of with the hand float. The hand float was the right length to get this nice and flat. So we're going to edge it, vertically up the face of the step, and then also along the 2x12. Then I'm going to use a cove at the bottom of the step and then a top tool. All 1/2-inch stuff. But I came up with a really good idea once we faced it all the way down. Then Eric was brooming it behind us. The risers are coming off. We started a little early on the first one. I had to push it back up in there and let it dry for another 15 or 20 minutes. So that's the nice thing about steps. If you're not sure when to strip them, it's better to do it early than late, because if you do it a little early, you can always push that riser back up there and then give it a little more time. But if you do it late, you're going to be struggling all the way down. Now here's Eric starting the broom process. Me and Doug are just about to the bottom. We got it detailed out pretty nice here. We want this a little bit rougher than the average too. The last thing you'd want to do is slip off of this. Could be very hazardous if you did. So a handrail is a nice option. I mean, that might be going up here in the near future. And that can just be bolted into the side of this, because we're about a foot deep. So we can put a nice bracket or plate at the bottom and anchor it in that way. But there's a lot of options. But the nice thing about the sides of this, because we use that pea gravel, I used to use a sponge float. I didn't trowel the sides at all. I just used a sponge float and water and really detailed it out nice. Here's the curing compound, just went on there. That way it's not going to crack and it cures out properly. Anyway, thank you for watching, and make sure you like, share, subscribe, and get ready for that next upload, because it's going to be a great one.
Odell, complete concrete. Odell, complete concrete.